Yo, 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 what's going on, people? What's going on, people? It's Wednesday. Run a little late because of my black ass. So if y'all gonna run a ride, blame me. Cause
Kev, I
I'm
don't know
y'all.
you. Are you wasting your time even talking? Hey, they already know that.
Exactly. Hey,
Or
but
No,
this
but
for the
Jew,
brand new
Jew,
people.
Jew having technical difficulties also. So I was trying to get in touch now with Kev and Jew at the same time. Like I said, Jew having problems with his phone right now, so he getting that in order, so he won't be
Okay.
on. Got truth to fill in for him.
Okay.
so
Like you
the
said.
truth is filling in for old brother Jude now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so honored to do that.
All right. So as you already know, it's the Senator, Mad Mike Sports. We got the
Oh yeah.
Don, the Truth, and the Six Man.
Let's get it,
So,
baby. Let's get it. Let's get it.
all right. So Don, I'm gonna let you go ahead, man. What you got planned for us today? Because tonight is your show. What you got planned for us?
I about to say, please don't say tonight is my night because that don't sound right. Anyway, but let's go ahead on with it. Go ahead on. So we're gonna talk about some potential coaches. For the Atlanta Falcons, there's a lot of candidates out there, and I know a lot of people have their spiel on who they want to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know we are also looking for a general manager and president of football operations, but we're not gonna really get into that yet until we hear Arthur Blank's press conference tomorrow morning. And that because when he speaks and he
He's in your
talks to
punch,
the
baby.
media, he's already gonna he's gonna pretty much hint to the world what he wants as far as front office staff. So we'll wait on that. But we all know we need a coach to coach the roster. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that tonight. And again, you guys, everybody need to be open minded with some of these names because at the end of the day, guess what? There's several other teams that need head coaches too. So and guess what? There's bigger markets. New York and the Raiders, they are bigger than Atlanta. We just calling a spade a spade. I'm just being honest with you guys. So some coaches may not want to come here. Some coaches may want to be like, "Hey, I just don't want to go to this team, or I don't want to go to that region of the country," and that's fine. But at the same time, this is why we try to talk to you guys and let y'all know that there are more than just one good coach out there that could possibly come here and get us into the playoffs and fulfill what we need so much, a Super Bowl ring. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first person. And this is not in no order, you guys. Um, Joe Brady. Um, he's the offense coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. He rose to prominence at LSU during Joe Burrow's historic season when he won the Heisman and the national championship in 2019. Um, he's also been doing good work right now with Josh Allen out there in Buffalo. So the strengths that he has, again, he's been known to be an elite quarterback developer. We really need that here in Atlanta with our young quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. So, that's a good box to check off for him.
Mm.
His passing concepts are good. He understands how to give the wide receiver space, the tempo, and the adaptability. Again, we got guys like Bijan, Kyle Pitts, if we could bring him back, and Drake London, that'll help them, become, they're good receivers and tight ends. I'm not saying they're not, but that'll make them so much better. Again, coaching ruins players. Bad coaching ruins players. He is strong communicator with players and assistants, and he's seen as part as the next generation of NFL head coaches. Now, how he can fit with the Falcons, again, we have our young quarterback here. He needs someone here to develop him. He maximized skills, position talent, and he signals a true philosophical reset towards offense and innovation. Now, of course, he doesn't have any head coaching experience, and he will have to need to build and manage a full staff for the first time. So that is again, some of these first time head coaches, they don't know how to build a coaching staff. They just call people that they know, that they friends with, or they have a history with, and ask them to come along on a ride. But sometimes that ride don't always be good because they don't have the experience. So that's another thing to think about as well. So I'm gonna let the guys go ahead and talk about if y'all have a spill about Joe Brady.
What you got on that, Mike?
I might hit this.
Oh, okay. Well,
About Joe
I'll go.
Brady.
I'll go. I mean, I don't really know much about Joe Brady. Be honest with you, man. I remember he was. I do remember him being in Carolina, and it didn't go well. Uh, or is that the wrong team? Where was he at?
He was in Carolina. He was the offensive
Yeah.
coordinator. I think he was under Matt Rule, I believe.
No. Okay. I mean, okay. So he wasn't the head coach, but a lot of people speak highly of him. So I mean, being that because I haven't really, again, I got to do more research on him for my own personal knowledge. But a lot of people high on him, man. So it's one of them. That, hey, if y'all like it, I love it.
Um, like I said, I know for me, I'm kind of like with Truthful. Like I said, I know of him a little bit. Um, and I do kind of understand what the ideas offensively that he do is bring, as it's kind of like you said, being a little bit more quarterback friendly. Um, because I think the first time that they interviewed him was like back in 2021. That was
Yeah,
before the
I can't hear
Arthur
anybody
Smith,
talking.
Arthur Smith. But like you said, as far as what you said is the main thing is being able to help establish the quarterback and actually be kind of good with a young quarterback in that aspect of things. So I'm cool with it.
I mean, well, looking at him, like I said, it's much of a more modern approach to the passing game. Um, Kind of focuses on attacking downfield with a quarterback like Michael Penix. That kind of suits him better. I did not like how the Atlanta Falcons just tried to, dumb down Michael Penix's arm. Like if a guy can throw the way that he can throw and push the ball downfield, um, like you're really not helping him. Like I understand people's need to kind of focus on getting him comfortable, but comfortability for a rookie quarterback is something that like you shouldn't be emphasizing first. Like you want to push the boundaries. Yeah, you want to, kind of limit his his attempts as far as I'm concerned. So I do like the fact that he likes to get the ball to his tight ends, and that's something that I do like with him being the offensive coordinator for the Bills, and he emphasizes it does emphasizes the run game and use the quarterback legs here and there, but for the most part, he's been focusing on giving um um good God Almighty, right out the tip of my tongue, James Cook James Cook emphasizes him in multiple ways doing so. I think he'll fit perfectly for what the Falcons want to do if he were to come in, whether it's a head coaching job or offensive coordinator.
All right. Let me go ahead and go to the next coach. And this is pretty much everybody's boyfriend right now, boy toy. Clint Kubiak. He's currently the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. He comes from that Shanahan, Gary Kubiak coaching lineage experience. He has experience in building efficient QB-friendly systems. So, the good things about him is he has a strong run pass balance game. So again, he's not pass heavy, he's not run heavy, he's very like balanced. He's heavy in play action and zone concepts. He's known for structure, preparation, and adaptability. He's well respected internally around the league. Um, he fits with the Falcons by his excellent schematic fit with Atlanta's personnel. He can, and I'm talking about the offense that we already have here in Atlanta. He can stabilize offense without excessive risk. He clean break from previous identities, like from what we had with Arthur Smith and with Zach Robinson. This right here would be something that we had back in 2016, and this is why a lot of people are really high on Clint Kubiak right now. They moved their king out of the check from your queen because of the familiarity of the offense that we ran back then. Now he's less charismatic. This is a concern. Less charismatic or public facing than some candidates. Me, I don't care. I look. I know everybody was like Raheem dancing on the sideline and all that shit, but he ain't about to do all that. All right. So he's serious about football. Um, but he would need to prove himself again because he's a he'll be a first time head coach. So, but what's y'all thoughts on Kubiak?
I mean, you said the Kubiak Shanahan tree. That's pretty much all I need to say right there. So I kind of understand what comes with it. Um, like I say, he's done pretty well with the quarterback position himself. That I'm seeing the theme here. Hey, like I said, he's on that no nonsense type of flinching and about getting the job done. Like I said, that's just what a team like this needs. Cause I know, and I understand like what a lot of people kind of look at with a lot of these coaches. They're looking at the hot shot, the guy that can get the offense going. But then you also have the other spectrum of guys that look at that. So where's the experience? I'm like, bro, at this point in time, give me somebody that comes from a coaching tree, a coaching lineage that's proven success. So I that sounds cool to me. That's all I got to say on that.
All right, Mike, you want to go?
I mean, like for me, I don't really pay too much attention to whether a guy has experience at head coach. The thing is, for me, is does he have a system that has been proven and throughout the years? And I think that's the thing with Kubiak. I think it can be a little bit overblown in regards to experience at the head coaching position. Um, and I think you got guys like Harbaugh. Um, you got guys, both of the Harbaugh brothers, and you have Sean McVay. Those guys got started pretty young, so I don't get caught up in that regard as far as age and stuff like that. It's Do you have a are you working with a proven system? And I think that's the thing with Raheem
Hmm.
and Zach. Those guys did not, emphasize. They didn't really have a system that was proven. They pretty much came in with an experimental type of scheme, and that's the same thing we had with Dan Quinn. Like Dan Quinn never had a proven system. Um, he tried to take pieces of a system that was proven and make it his own, and that's the wrong thing. But like the West Coast offense that the Kubiak and Shanahan run, and that's been proven ever since the '80s. So um, um, he understands the what we keep talking about is the play action game. The play action game in the NFL is coming, making this a strong comeback. You look at what happened with the. I mean, to be honest, if you just look at Baltimore, they run uh, a lot of drag crossing routes across the middle, attacking the middle of the field using play action. So he'll be able to do the same. He'll be able to do the exact same.
And I want some other people to understand about Zach Robinson. Well, he came from Sean McVay coaching tree. Okay, and McVay's coaching tree is very young. It ain't even got like the roots deep in the ground yet. All right, Zach, I think left too early. I think Raheem took him away too early from McVay. Like he wasn't even. I don't think he was there under McVay that long. I think he got there in like 2020 or 2019, I believe. Like he didn't get there that long. He wasn't under McVay that long. So again, Zach, he'll be all right. He'll go somewhere, probably go back to Los Angeles, sit on the hill for 5 more years, and actually learn his system, and use it when you become a head coach again one
Yeah,
day.
a proven system. You have to have the basics of a proven system. Now you can have variations, which a lot of coaches do, which is what Shanahan does. He has a variation of what
Mhm.
the West Coast offense from Walsh, his dad, and Dan Reeves, they kind of perfected.
Yeah,
But like he has a version of it, and that's the thing that you look at Zach Robinson. He doesn't have a base. He's just basically coming out and experimenting with a bunch
hmm
of things, and that's the
he
problem.
he deviated far from that system, and that's the
Hmm.
same thing Dan Quinn did. He deviated so far from fucking Pete Carroll's system. So again, when coaches want to do their own thing, that's how they fail. So, Kate. Oh yeah, Kate. Stop. Truth. What you got to say?
Truth.
All right, we gonna keep moving. All right. I know a lot of people talking about John Harbaugh right now. We'll talk about John.
Man,
Like
I was
we.
muted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was muted, man. I was talking, but I forgot I had muted myself, so I had noise going on in the background. Um, kind of came in back in on the back end of it, but I'm y'all. We're really talking about what type of coaches we looking for, right? Or what?
Right now, we just left the topic of Clint Kubiak.
Okay, Clint Kubiak. I don't know nothing about him. I'm here so I won't get fined on that one. I don't know nothing about him other than his daddy. I usually get all that from y'all, man.
All right, all right. So I was saying about Harbaugh. We'll talk more about Harbaugh in a little bit. But I want to just go ahead and just keep rolling for what we already have. And again, news came out earlier about Harbaugh saying that he's probably going to take a week off of doing any interviews and anything like that. So we'll probably talk about him. We may have a whole show for him. Later on this week. The next person to come to mind is Steve Wilkes. Very everybody familiar with him. He was defense coordinator in Carolina. He was a head coach in Arizona. They really didn't give him a chance down there. We talking about giving coaches chances. They didn't give him any chance. And then he was a defensive coordinator for the 49ers. And he was a consultant for us for a little bit when Raheem was here. But anyway, and then he was also interviewed for the job back in 2024 off season, and we didn't give him a second interview. But anyway, um, his background: he's a former NFL head coach and interim head coach. He's been again a defense coordinator on two Super Bowl caliber teams in Carolina and with the 49ers. His strength is he has a strong locker room presence. We need that with this young core players. He commands respect from players. He's disciplined, professional leadership style. He has experience managing adversity. Now, how is this as a fit for the Falcons? This is ideal if we prioritize culture, accountability, and solid defense. We've been talking about this for years about the right culture here in the city. Like holding everybody accountable in the locker room, holding every coach accountable for doing their job and game planning and getting these guys ready for Sundays or Monday nights or whatever other day they want to throw us on. Right. All right. And he can stabilize his organization during this reset that we're going through right now. Now, the concerns are his head coaching stint in Arizona was very unsuccessful. But again, he has head coaching experience. It just wasn't long enough. Now the concern would be for him is who his offensive coordinator is going to be. That'll be critical because again, we have Michael Penix. He needs somebody to grow him. He needs somebody to develop him. So that's another, question mark we got to think about with if we hire somebody like Steve Wilkes. Um, K style. Well, Mike, you want to go first?
Well, Wilkes, I don't have a problem with a lot of his, like I said, his defensive scheme. We already, like I said, we already have the ability to play the three as well as the four and 3-4, 4-3, which really doesn't matter as much because a lot of times about 40 to 30 to about 40% of the time, most teams are in the nickel anyway. So you're going to see four rushes anyway. You very seldom are in your base, and if you in your base, um, it's usually in pass situations, and you bring in your best tacklers when you have a lead. So it's like most defensive guys are not playing the base. Like I said, I'm not really focused on the base that much at all anyway, outside of stopping the run when it's necessary. Um, but like I said, with his I don't know if he'll be good for the players' sake, because we got a bunch of crybaby um, players in the NFL and that harsh style, which is probably something that they need anyway. But with players today, I just don't know how he'll be able to fit with a lot of that, because he's a no nonsense type of coach. So I don't know.
Yeah, real no nonsense. He don't he would I don't know about him because of what you saying right now. He damn these soft ass players, man. Hey, it'll be some drama off the rip.
Yeah, and I don't know about him just based off that, because, like I said, players getting their feelings all the time. We've seen the Julio Jones getting his feelings because we brought a no nonsense type of coach. Now, if Matt Ryan or whomever is the team president come in and they pretty much, put their foot down on, the no nonsense and gravitating towards that, then I'm all for Wilkes. But being at the NFL and a lot of these owners, a lot of these front office personnel give too much power to a lot of these these players, like I don't know if I want to take that chance, but it really just depends on the front office if they're gonna welcome that no nonsense type of atmosphere.
I just think in this situation and where they're at right now, I kind of I wouldn't know. I think if the quarterback position in Atlanta was already kind of settled in his aspect, if you already had that straightened, like you said, Steve Wilkes would be the perfect guy. But like you said, it's going to just be depending on what guys that he's going to be bringing in as the coordinators and stuff under him. So it's a 50-50 shot. But that quarterback position is unsettled. And like you said, and we just know him as a straight defensive style of guy. It's just solely just going to depend on who he brings in. But that's kind of a 50-50 option right there, in my
Or or
opinion.
or we can do what we did with Shanahan. We brought Shanahan here just strictly focus on the offense, and that's why that with Dan Quinn, if 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 Wilkes is just gonna let the offense and Matt Ryan them handle the offensive side of things, and he just do his thing as far as just keeping players in line and just running the defense, I'm all for it. But like, I think there needs to be one person in particular that's the overseer of the offense. I don't think Wilkes is that guy.
Yeah, because his offense was dead last in Arizona. Man,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I said
Right.
when these coaches become first time head coaches, they just build their staff. They don't know. Sometimes they be getting quarterback like a wide receiver coach to come in to be their offensive coordinator,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and they don't know nothing about calling plays. So again, that's just something to think about, man. So, um, Truth, you got anything on Steve Wilkes?
Pretty much like I said, the type of coach he is, stand by for heavy road media. He ain't finna he ain't gonna be the same type of person that Mr. Morris was. I like his coaching style, man. But the type of coach that I like, y'all already know how it goes around here. A lot of these fans ain't gonna like. A lot of these players ain't gonna like. But uh, uh, like I don't know as much as y'all know about when it comes about making sure the quarterback ready and all that stuff there. So I'm kind of green when it comes to that talk. But one thing for sure, you got somebody who's gonna come in here. He gonna stand, as they say, stand on business. So I felt like I felt like he kind of got a bad rap in Carolina. Um, we already know what happened with him and our former offensive coordinator. It was almost like he down set scapegoated. Would that be too harsh?
No,
So but I, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I'm not really. I'm not opposed to anybody I seen on that list. Anybody who that's been mentioned up to this point, I'm not opposed to anybody, man. I was so ready for the last situation to be done with that I ain't gonna be an ungrateful fan. I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna be respectful and appreciative of whoever we bring in here.
Yeah. That's cool right there.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of vanilla, but that's where I am, bro.
All right. All right. Next person on the list is Todd Monken. Um, he's the offense coordinator for Baltimore Ravens. His background is his extensive NFL and college coaching experience. Um, I like how he adapted to the offense to Lamar Jackson's strengths. Even though I know, we're very vocal on Lamar Jackson, but at the same time, it's like I can say that he looked a little better under Todd Monken than he was under Greg Roman. That's for sure. Um, his strength is his scheme adaptability. He's a veteran play caller. He's calm. He has a professional demeanor, and he's comfortable managing diverse personalities. And look at how our offense is. It's very diverse. Um, how he fit in with the Falcons as the head coach is a good choice for a steady offensive improvement, which we need here. Less developmental risk than younger candidates. Todd is a little older, so he's not like Clint Kubiak or Joe Brady's age. Um, Now that is concerned about older than typical first time hires because again, he's been a coordinator for years, and some people may be like, well, he may not work out as a head coach. So, well, limited long term upside compared to younger options. So again, it's his age. It could be the concern, but again, he has experience. So, K Styles, what's your thoughts on Todd Monkey?
We're talking about pretty much adaptability. On the keep it simple, stupid side of the game, or what he likes to do with his players. So that 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 would be very interesting. But like you said, as far as a head coach, I really don't know. I can't really say anything.
Okay.
But like you said, but if you're talking about a guy who's like a OC type of guy, and he, like you said, especially with him being older,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be a little bit more comfortable with him if it's a OC job and not a head coach job.
All
That,
right. And I know a lot of people. It ain't a lot of Falcons fans called screaming for Todd Monken to come here. It's pretty much diehard Georgia Bulldog fans that are, somewhat Falcon fans that want him to come here. They want anybody from Georgia, to come to the Falcons.
right.
So that's how I see it as. Mike, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, you pretty much stole the words right out of my mouth in regards to like I don't have a problem with Monken because I think the culture in Atlanta for the most part is that most of the hardcore fans want to see the run, play action, get the ball, play some solid defense, similar to what Michigan football and Georgia football they kind of built their programs on. Of like toughness, solid defense, running the ball, some solid quarterback play. But like it's the small intricate details of football. And Todd Monken, him being an older guy, I don't know if I know he's not going to be a long term. So there would have to be a plan for him to bring someone along in regards to being a head coach. Because I just don't think Falcons fans and the media would be for that. Like I said, if the organization is past all of that, worried about the media, worried about the fans, then Todd Monken is not a bad a bad coach. Um, I my only thing is I love the fact that he was able to do the things that Lamar does well, but like that's not a flex in my opinion. Um, Because like all you do is just tell them to roll out and throw the ball to his tight ends. Like it was no emphasis on actually getting the ball into the wide receiver's hands.
Hold on,
And
hold
then
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me address this real quick. Sorry, Mike. Bro, again, have a open mind. All right?
That
Have
was
a
the
open mind of
stay out
all
your
the
feelings,
candidates that we
man.
have. All right?
Yeah.
that was the very first disclaimer of the show. That was the very first disclaimer.
Because it like I said, nobody would have seen Raheem Morris being the head coach for the Falcons when you look at him not being qualified. Nobody would have saw that Sean McVay would turn out the way he would. Nobody would say Mike McDonald was ready to be a head coach. And he's turned that situation around down there in Miami. So get out your feelings, y'all, and understand what the Falcons are right now, not what you want.
Exactly.
All right. Let's go to the. We got more names. All right. Y'all can chill out. Damn. All right. Next person is Brian Flores. He's a defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. Um, Background for him is he's a former NFL head coach. His stint down there in Miami. He has strong defensive He's a strong defensive strategist. The strength of Flores is he's tough, disciplined, culture builder. He has a strong schematic mind, and he's experienced running an entire organization. Now, going back to the strong schematic mind, that sounds so familiar to a Hall of Fame head coach that has what 7 Super Bowl rings, right?
He does come from that Belichick coaching tree.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
he's pretty much. I ain't gonna say he's the black Bill Belichick because he's the black Bill Belichick without the rings. They just call it for what it is. But anyway, this is a fit for the Falcons. He could immediately raise defensive standards, which our defense has been on the rise this year anyway. You got 2 edge rushers like James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker. So think about Brian Flores, calling the defense and developing these guys, into elite pass rushers in the league. He appeals if Atlanta wants edge and accountability. The concern is his prior head coaching tenure wasn't really it didn't really go well with him. He requires careful staff and personality management. So if he do come in again, he really gonna have to make sure he bring in the right offensive coordinator for our offense. Um, what's your thoughts, Mike?
Well, Flores, for what um, the Falcons need currently, I don't know if they need, like, I trust that a guy like Drake London exactly is. Drake has never given me any indication that he's just, a diva. I think just Drake just has a strong personality. You know what I'm saying? Bijan doesn't strike me as a guy that, that doesn't follow. It doesn't like to follow rules and just like things the way they are. Both those guys come out as guys who hungry or they want to win, and they believe that they the best. So a guy like Brian Flores is going to try to bring that out out of them, and if he's anything like if he comes from that Bill Belichick tree, Belichick is going to allow them guys to do exactly that. So I expect that from Brian Flores. Like I said, the thing is, if he's just looking at what the Falcons need, plus the type of media that we have, I mean, you got to have jackasses, to be honest, in order to be a head coach here in Atlanta. That nice stuff, like being nice and cool and calm, has never worked for the Atlanta Falcons. Going back to Jim Mora, you know, Mike Smith, Dan Reeves, um, Jerry Glanville. If you just look at the history of head coaches that have actually been successful or have some resemblance of success, all those guys have been strong. They've had strong personalities. And the two guys that did not have strong personalities, Dan Quinn and well, three, you count Bob Petrino, he quit. And then you look at Raheem Morris. These guys just care too much about the media and how the media perceive them. Well, I throw Bob Petrino out there. He obviously didn't care what nobody thought, but the ones that we've seen here, they care too much about the media, and it just does nothing but leaves a bunch of trash. Um, so I think Flores is gonna if he were to come in and be a head coach, I think he'll continue that streak of having coaches in here that don't really care about what the media. And I think Mike Smith, um, he really he really did a good job of handling the media.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. And what's your thoughts, K Styles?
Brian Flores. Now, Flores is kind of the guy that I'm the most intrigued about, me personally, just from, like you said, just kind of having that background. Once again, once we kind of talk about that lineage and coming from coaching tree of success
Mm-hmm.
and that no nonsense type of style that we talked about with Steve Wilkes earlier. But like you said, he's a guy that's actually has coached some type of success, down in Miami and stuff like that. And like you said, me personally, I think Brian Flores would be the perfect guy. Like you say, he is going to be that accountability guy, but he's also kind of used to being around the modern, the modern players and stuff. So I think he's a little bit more adaptable with that.
All right. Okay. All right. The next person up is Vance Joseph. He's the defense coordinator for the Denver Broncos. Um, Background of Joseph is he's a former NFL head coach and he's a long-time defensive coordinator. So he's been a defense coordinator for a long time, you guys. So he has that experience of calling the defense. Um, the strength of him is he experienced it. He has experience at every coaching level. So meaning that he coached high school, college, and NFL football. He has a calm, collaborative leadership style, and he has a strong defensive resume. So if you go look at Vance Joseph and the defenses he coached, you'll be surprised. Like, dang, I ain't know he coached this defense. Yeah, it was him, or he was on their staff as a positional coach. How he'll fit with the Falcons? He'll bring stability and professionalism here, and he has familiarity with head coaching responsibilities. So again, he won't be a first time head coach. So he already know the expectations of what he got to do. But that is a concern because his previous head coaching record it limits the excitement. So I know everybody gonna look at, well, he didn't do good at Denver. Like, well, look at their draft picks and the transactions they did. Like, yeah, right. I don't know what Elway was doing at that point. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. What's your thoughts, Mike?
Uh, who? Hold on. Say who that again?
Just said
Vance Joseph.
Van. All right. I thought so. Uh, See me from what I've seen this year. It just not just the Falcons. I've seen it across the league. It just more NFL owners and front office guys are like they're so focused on having guys in that they can kind of have under their thumb, so to speak, and they allow those guys because these guys just want to prove themselves, and they're not going to offer a lot of resistance. So having a guy like Van Joseph, for me, it signifies stability and scheme. I don't really get too caught up in, again, experience, but you got to have some sort of expert, like you got to have some sort of success within your scheme. And Vance may not have the experience as being a head coach or success as being a head coach, but his defenses and his schemes has been elite, superb. So that's what I'm focused on. You've seen a lot of head coaches, Buddy Ryan, when he was in obviously with Chicago, when he married the scheme with Mike Dicker's offense and whatnot. They did a good job with that. So every defense and every offense need a good mate to go along with it. I don't think you get Van Joseph being, obviously you'll be able to. You could he. I mean that's going to be the biggest question. Can he get someone in here that can kind of, be the. Sure, you can look at the New Orleans Saints with Sean Payton. The perfect defense with him when his offense was Greg Williams. So it just makes sense, man. Just get him in. I like him. I would not be upset about that because I've seen what his scheme is. But you have to figure out who's coming with him.
Hey, K Styles.
Um. Oh, I'm about to say who is this? Who is this? Who is this one again?
Vance Joseph.
Vance Joseph. Okay. I thought so. Now Vance Joseph to me is kind of a wild card here. Like I said, he like defensively, we kind of understand um what he's brought, especially in Denver. Can they carry over to the redemption side of things as far as head coach? That's what kind of makes him the wild card to me. But like you said, it just goes back. It just goes back to having that energy and being able to relate to some of the players on this team, especially when you have a bunch of young stars on that defense, and being able to translate that throughout the whole team. But like I said, I just look at him as a wild card in all this.
Yeah.
Is he ready to take on that head coach mantle this time? Because the first time it was kind of messed up how he got fired the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. That's my thing. Is he ready to take on that mantle? That's all. That's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, because he became the head coach after Kubiak left. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And yeah, like again, man. I just because Manning left, then Kubiak left. What, a year later or whatever, and like they didn't have nothing. they ain't had nothing. I forgot who the quarterback was, But again, the next person on our list is Jeff Hafley. He's currently the defense coordinator of the Green Bay Packers. Guys, I will get to the good names. Just, I got to be like Vanessa Williams. I got to say the best for last. But just bear with me. But Jeff Hafley, defense coordinator, Green Bay Packers, former college head football coach. He his NFL defensive coordinator with turnaround success. So strength of Halfley is defensive accountability, teaching oriented. He's also a teaching oriented coach. So he's out there with the players, teaching them, going through the drills and everything. And a lot of coaches do that for sure. But at the same time, as most defensive coordinators, they let the positional coaches do all that. But he's out there, in the drills doing all that with the players, and a lot of players, they speak highly of this guy. How he'll fit with the Falcons, he appeals with us. If especially we want the discipline and fundamentals back in our coaching staff. This also is less risky than first time coordinators. Now, he does not have the head coaching experience. We know that, and he really gonna have to build him a good offensive staff. But if he's coming from Green Bay, I'm pretty sure LaFleur has some good guys up there as offensive assistants that he could come in and try to bring him in as an offensive coordinator, and hopefully that guy mastered, and learned a lot from LaFleur to call his own offense here in Atlanta. So that'll be a concern as well. K Styles, what's your thoughts, man, on Halfley?
I have no idea about who. I have no idea about him.
He's
Like
getting
it's
some. They've been requesting to interview him.
okay,
Like I'm saying, these guys I'm naming, man. Like people been asking to interview these guys.
okay. But like I said, I just know for me personally, I don't really have any idea about him. Um, but like you said, all I could do is just go off of the strength of the information you give me. Because like I said, that's a name I don't have a clue about, or I
Yeah,
might not have.
some of these guys Halfley's one of those. Like he definitely a huge wild card in this
Okay.
coaching cycle.
So
Like he
would you
may
so would you say he's a bigger wild card than Vance Joseph?
yeah. At least
Okay.
Vance has the edge because one, you got to think about it. Like he has that head coaching experience,
Okay.
and then what he's done with this Broncos defense, man, is crazy, man. Like
Okay.
I ain't seen this Broncos defense good like this since they had Wade Phillips as they offense defense coordinator.
Okay. Yeah.
So and that's when they won the Super Bowl. So yeah, but again, man, like he may get a job. Like I said, I'm not predicting that he won't, but again, he is, he's one of those guys that a lot of people not, a lot of fans like, who is this person, But if you go look at his work, the work that he did with Green Bay, his defense,
Mm.
you'll be impressed. Mike, what's your thoughts?
Another guy with experience, another guy with no, a horse with no name. Shut up.
Been through the desert on a
I
horse
knew
with
you was
no
gonna sing
name.
it. I knew you was gonna sing it. I knew you was gonna sing it. That's why I threw it out there. Uh, he's a horse with no name. And the thing is with that, again, I'm into people that actually had success with their scheme, and we're not just out here, experimenting, wasting a lot of these young players' time. And we see way too much of that. And I think that's what's ruining a lot of quarterbacks is we got a bunch of guys out here just experimenting and learning on the job, and then we wonder why guys are not panning out. It's because we got these pieces of absolute crap at head coaches and offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, leadership positions. That's the reason why. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't take you 15 weeks to understand that Kyle Pitts is good on drag routes. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't take you 15 weeks to understand that Bijan Robinson is the best player on the team, and you need to have a actual but a play action plan to go along with your running schemes. You know what I'm saying? So it shouldn't take you that long. So a guy like him, he knows how to use, obviously, with Don's guy from Michigan. Who is that guy from Michigan? that he's done?
You talking about which guy?
The guy from Michigan.
Oh,
Who's
you
the head?
talking about
Hmm?
the player, a player or a
Who
coach?
he coaching in Green Bay from Michigan?
You know, Rashawn Gary, man.
Rashawn Gary. Oh, okay, that's his name, right? So yeah, Rashawn Gary. He's used to using guys in certain situations. He's used to using guys like Michael Parsons, and he knows what to do with those guys. You know what I'm saying? Most defensive coaches, as we saw here with Dan Quinn, he didn't know how to use those young players. All right, how to get the most out of them, how to get the best out of them. Actual pass rush schemes and pass rush plans, different types of stunts and whatnot. He'll be able to do that. So that's what he won't be wasting a Jalen Walker and a James Pierce or a Braylon Trice whenever he gets healthy. You know what I'm saying? So he'll be able to do that. So those are the things I look for. Has he had experience working with young players?
All right. Next person, and I love this person right here. I ain't saying I love him to come to Atlanta. I just love him in general. Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, something about Minter is he's a rapidly rising defensive coach. He's known for adaptability and teaching. The strength of Minter is his modern defensive schemes that he run. Again, man, like he's the reason why Michigan won the national championship back in 23. He was the main reason. Like our offense was not that good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our offense was not that good. We blew a lot of teams out. And I know a lot of people gonna sit here and say we still stole signs and all that, bro. At the end of the day, players gotta play. Players gotta play.
Mm-hmm.
Like their mistakes are made in the game. Execution is always gonna be a problem for a lot of people. So again, man, he and you look at how many first round draft picks that Michigan defense had. A lot. And that was because of Minter, Jesse Minter. All right. Now, he's a strong communicator and he's respected by a lot of players. So a lot of players love Jesse Minter. All right. And I'm not saying that he's not that friendly coach that's just gonna be like Raheem Morris dancing with them. No, he earns the players' respect by him teaching them and developing them. All right. Again, this is somebody who can develop talent. And again, we have this young defense here, Xavier Watts, and I think that Xavier Watts would be a doggone all pro under Jesse Minter. That's just my prediction if Minter comes here to Atlanta. All right. How he'll fit here in Atlanta is again, like I said, we have a young defensive core. Uh, that'll help. That'll be good for Minter for him to develop. Again, he did it at Michigan with young guys, so he can do this with our young core. He fits a patient a retool. All right. Again, I don't think we rebuilding. We kind of heading reset or retooling. All right. The concerns: he doesn't have any head coaching experience, and he only been with the Chargers. He only been in the NFL for 2 seasons, calling the defense. However, the Chargers have made the playoffs with how many times? Twice, right? So
Twice.
yeah, again. So again, like I'm not. I hate to say this, but knock on wood, this to me, this could at the worst, Jesse Minter could at the worst could be like a Dan Quinn hire for anybody. And we're not just again, we're doing this for our team for the Falcons, but we also doing this content because there's other teams that are looking for head coaches. So again, what I'm saying, it can also apply to their teams as well for these coaches. But we see how we did with Dan Quinn. He was at Florida. Then he came to Seattle for 2 years, won a Super Bowl, and then we hired him. And yeah, he took us to the Super Bowl 2 seasons, and then after that, just team with the shit. So again, young guy. Um, again, I really do see this guy being a head coach in the NFL this cycle. So he's been doing a great job for the past, I say, 4 or 5 years now, wherever he's been. All right, Mike, what's your thoughts on Jesse?
I mean, I love the fact that he went to the University of Michigan. That's pretty much just it.
Mike, can't be a hater for you. Can't be a hater for
What's
you.
wrong? What's wrong with that answer?
All right,
What's wrong with that answer?
whatever. All right, taste up.
Nah, he's a guy that designs a lot of their pressure packages. So, like I said, he'll be able to kind of. It's kind of similar to what Spag does with the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? He'll be able to use his safety, use his corners coming off blitzes and stuff like that, and putting your linebackers in the proper position, and he'll understand that we don't need to put Kate Ellis in the middle of anything, covering anything and anybody. That's what I do know. But the pressure packages, that's kind of what he is. And you need a defensive mind that doesn't necessarily focus on the pressure packages just from the front seven. You got to be able to incorporate those safeties and corners coming off blitzes and stuff like that, which is a lot of defense coordinators don't do a lot of it.
And not only that, Mentor, he also come from another breed of the pedigree of coaches. His dad was a head coach too at the University of Cincinnati, and he coached for a long time. He was there for Cincinnati, I think, for 10 years, I believe. So, and then he's been a defensive coordinator as well at several places. So, I believe. Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he won a bowl game, I believe. Recently, it's what 09 with Marshall. So, like I said, man, again, then his dad also had experience in the NFL. He coached the linebackers for the Eagles back in, I think, who was the coach in 2014-15? Was it Kelly? Was it Brian Kelly? Not Brian Kelly. Chip Kelly was a coach. Yeah. So again, man, like Jesse also have a lot of connections too. But what's your thoughts, K Styles?
Jesse Mentor. Once again, it's another one of those wild cards. Like you said, just based on the experience in the NFL. But like you said, but the difference is from what we've experienced as a young coach already with the Falcons. He's actually a guy who was a young coach that came in that made an impact on the side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. Like you said, man, it's just another one of those wild card guys. Like you said, that this time seem like a lot of the wild card guys are the guys who specializes on the defensive side of the ball. And that's the one thing I am noticing on this list right now.
The defense win championships, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
This my list is as exact. It's pretty much identical to what ESPN, Fox Sports, any major news outlet out there right now that's saying top candidates. So my list is very similar, and
Right, 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 right.
Jesse Minter, in my opinion, I think he could again outside of John Harbaugh, outside of um Mike McCarthy, outside of those guys, and I'll say Pete Carroll. Outside of those guys, Mentor is the top 5 coaching candidate right now. One of those young coaching candidates that's trying to get it a first time head coach. He's top 5 or probably top 3.
I got it. Don, I want to speak on something about Pete Carroll. One of my buddies who's a Raiders fan, pretty much told me that it was kind of a disconnect between uh, uh, Pete Carroll and his OC, and excuse me, Pete Carroll and his O line coach and the players. To my understanding, did he have his son? What it wasn't his son on the staff?
You talking about Pete Carroll?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that situation.
Okay. I was reading something, and I talked to one of my partners. They said pretty much it was an issue with his son on the staff. I don't quote me on that. When I tell you that, when I said don't quote me on that, because I'm not all the way for sure. Just if 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 there's any kind of truth to that, we definitely don't need that type action.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is about Carroll is like I was just saying outside of those guys because those
Yeah.
guys,
Uh
they're gonna probably end up there for sure. McCarthy and Harbaugh for sure going to get a head coaching job this cycle. They will, unless they choose not to entertain any offers and just not get a job this cycle. So again, so we just finished talking about Jesse Minter, and the next person up is Matt Nagy, offense coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's very familiar. Everybody familiar with Nagy. He was the head coach of the Chicago Bears not so long ago. He has a extensive experience in successful offensive systems. Now his strength is he has his coaching experience, his offensive systems knowledge, and he's comfortable with managing staff. His fit for the Falcons. He appeals if ownership wants experience. So right now, I know a lot of people keep saying that we want somebody that has head coaching experience. Well, he does have experience. I know he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but he does have experience, and he does also have playoff experience too. So, hey, he did take what's his face? He did take what Trubisky to the playoffs. So again, man, like I'm just speaking the truth.
huh.
He can also stabilize his offense short term. So again, we talking about developing Michael Penix. This guy has helped develop young quarterbacks before, so this would be a good fit for the Falcons. The concerns is, his head coaching tenure in Chicago was very mid. Um, Again, man, they just had a lot of issues up there in Chicago. I know a lot of people here in Atlanta not really high on Matt Nagy, so that's another thing as well. So I don't think the fans, even the media, I know a guy like D-Leg, like I really give a fuck about what D-Leg thinks. I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you
Yeah.
on that. They definitely not gonna like they hire Matt Nagy. I can just see it now. So, what's your thoughts on this, K Styles?
Oh man, Matt Nagy, Matt Nagy, Matt Nagy.
Mm.
Now we're talking about one of the more experienced guys as far as the quarterback position, which is a quarterback position of concern for this team, of course. Um, very, very, very friendly. Like I said, very quarterback friendly type of team that he normally is involved with. Because Matt Nagy, and we're talking about Matt Nagy, Mitchell Trubisky, Patrick Mahomes as kind of like the notable guys that he's worked with too.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So if the quarterback position is of concern, like even though Click Kubiak is the more like dominating name and popular name right now in the coaching market,
Yeah.
Nagy is the more experienced as far as being able to deal with the quarterback position and being able to develop that quarterback position.
Yeah.
So if that's the main focus for the Falcons for the next couple years, that's a strong candidate name right there in itself.
Yeah.
So, like you said, just on the strength of that, like I said, that's a strong contender name right there. That's pretty much all I got on that.
All right. What about you, Mike?
I mean, whatever it takes to get, successful quarterbacks, coaches around your quarterback, whether it be Michael Penix or any young quarterback coming in. I'm tired of playing around with the Cliff Kingsbury's of the world who just want to have their quarterback run around in 15,000 circles. I'm
Exactly.
saying,
And
Yeah.
he's not on my list. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all on
yeah,
that. I'm just not like you gotta be a horrible person to get fired off of Dan Quinn's staff. That's all I just gotta say.
I'm not. I don't buy that. I don't buy that running around and RPO and getting the ball out of your hand quickly type of offense because you see what it's done to Jalen Hurts. The only reason why that dude got a championship is because that Philadelphia Eagles defense is so good. Um, he had 28, 29, 100 yards in the Super Bowl year. So it's like that type of offense where it's just spread and get the ball out of the quarterback hand quickly. Like um it's not like I said, it's just not very good. It conducive to having good quarterbacks. So I'm not into that. I'm not into that at all.
All right. Um.
I do like the fact that you bringing in a actual quarterback coach that understands how to build a quarterback,
Yeah.
and he helped build quite a few quarterbacks.
Exactly. What's your thoughts on Matt Nagy? True.
I mean, he was able to. He's able to navigate that Chicago situation. That says a lot. That speaks volumes. I mean, he made it to the playoffs with Mitchell Trubisky. He gets a thumbs up for me.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Michael Penix is way better than Mitch
It's
Trubisky.
safe to say that.
I'm just gonna tell y'all that right now. So this boy, if he could get Chicago in the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky, the sky's the limit with him with Michael Penix.
Didn't he have 1 year? Didn't he have 1 year Justin Fields too? Or was he
I don't
gone?
know. I think he did.
No.
I'm not for sure, but I'll check on that in a little bit.
Okay.
Um, yeah, let me check on that. But like, yo, any more thoughts on Matt Nagy?
Hey man, like I said, it's apparent that the main one of the main things that we're looking for is somebody who can help with develop this quarterback and help with the development of the quarterback. So if that's like I said, that's a prerequisite, and he passes that along with he got head coaching experience, which is also seems like it's a you know it's a requirement. let's see. I mean, like I said, I'm open to just about everybody. Um,
Yeah.
be- it-
So yeah,
it-
he
it-
was. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did have a year. He did have a year with Fields. I think that's why he got fired too. Because again, I don't think Fields was a guy that he wanted, and you can
No,
okay.
he
tell
didn't.
that season
No,
like
he
he
didn't.
did not want it Fields at all. Just by yeah. So yeah, and look what happened with that situation with the after Nagy left with Fields.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
That
yeah.
didn't turn out too well for the young man.
Yeah, they knew they made a horrible mistake. This is why they hired a guy like Ben Johnson now. So again, um, next person we have on our list is Joe Lombardi. He's currently the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. Background of him, he is the grandson of the late great Hall of Famer Vince Lombardi. All right. In case y'all don't know who he is, he was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers back in the '60s. He won two Super Bowls with them, and I think five NFL championships. I
The
think
trophy is named after him.
the trophy is named after him, of course. So this is his grandson, Joe Lombardi. All right. Um, Now he has been working a long time with Sean Payton. So that's another thing about Joe. His strength is his extensive experience working under Payton. Payton, everybody know he's one of the great offensive minds right now. He has familiarity with multiple offensive systems, and he's a professional guy, steady. I don't think anybody's heard anything bad about Joe Lombardi, and I'm talking about far as players concerned. Like all the players love Joe. All right, how he'll fit with the Falcons is pretty much if there are a lot of guys, or there are some guys that currently come off our list, they get hired other places, like guys like John Harbaugh or Clint Kubiak or anybody else we named tonight, like that was big on our list. Then I think Joe probably may end up getting a phone call, or his name will start popping up. You know, and ain't been popping up now, and especially again Denver, they in the playoff. They got the first round bye, so you know that's kind of like okay, we'll just wait to see if his name get pulled up, but pretty sure it will. My concern of him is his minimal league momentum as a head coach candidate, because again, there's so many other great candidates out there that has the experience, that has also have the experience, also not just head coach, but the experience of calling their plays. We know Joe is not calling the plays in Denver right now. That's been Sean Payton, and that man is never letting go of that playbook. It's just not. Everybody thought Pete Carmichael was calling the plays in New Orleans for him. And it turns out, guess what? He wasn't calling the plays. Because when Pete Carmichael was a deep offensive coordinator under Dennis Allen, we saw that. So again, but so this may be like an uninspired, and that's also there could be an uninspired hiring because nobody really like anything from New Orleans. So again, a lot of people don't like Sean Payton down here neither. But what's your thoughts on Joe Lombardi, Mike?
I mean, obviously he's an overseer, helping develop certain players on the offense, which is a plus for me. Um, it's not always about play calling, in my opinion. You have to have the
Development.
ability. You got to have develop, and I think we haven't had development in quite some time. With our skill players, which is unbelievable in its own right, because we never suffered for development of our skill players offensively, but the last few years under Smith and Raheem, Zach Robinson, they haven't been developing a lot of our skill players. Running back, wide receivers, tight ends, like it just haven't. I'll kind of give Arthur Smith a pass with the tight ends because he's very good at that. But outside of that, hey, we need the development of our skill players and asset to the quarterback. So I think it'll be good.
All right. What's your thoughts, K Styles?
Lombardi. I think we've had this conversation before. Lombardi is another one of those quarterback guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. We got one of the first wild cards of the offensive side of the ball. Well, the second one, the offensive side of the ball. Um, like I said, man, if the quarterback position is one of the major is one of the major concerns down the line, this is definitely a guy to be looked at. Um, do I think he's ready for the head coaching position? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know too much about it. I just know that he's a quarterbacks guy. But would it translate to the head coach position? And that's kind of something that I don't know right now. So it just goes back to if the quarterback position is of importance that needs to be developed, he's definitely one of the guys that's going to be on the radar.
All right. All right. I ain't mean, you go ahead. I ain't trying to cut you off. I was just agreeing with you.
No. That's all I got. I just try to keep everything kind of short and simple.
All right. Those peppers. We ain't talking about no Jim Bob Cooter.
I
I'm
ain't even
not.
talking about no motherfucking name, Jim Bob Cooter.
I'm not finna be. I'm not finna
Boy,
be serious.
we gonna get roasted so much, bro.
Jim Bob Cooter is already bad enough, and that's just it. That's just in the day, boy. You just coach Bob. Like I said,
we
hey,
just calling him Coach C. That's your name, Coach C.
Jim Bob Cooter. Nah, bro, I'm good.
Coop. Was it just like a just
like an
my
apple?
Cooter? Is it
just like an apple? Late at night.
No.
Night owl.
Hey, night owl.
owl.
Coop.
Coop.
Boy, it's enough. It's enough jokes right there in itself. I'm like, nah, we ain't doing that.
All right. I'm like, y'all don't know Jim Bob. He was the offensive coordinator
I
for.
know who he
No,
is.
we know Jim Bob Cooter. I'm just saying.
Somebody said, if people in the chat don't know who he is, he was the offensive coordinator for Stafford in Detroit. So, all right.
That name in itself is like a damn near disqualification in itself.
All right. Well, he's definitely not on my list. So, I saved the best for last, and finally we arrived. The last person on this list, and again, we will talk about John Harbaugh another time. All right, like this, the Harbaugh needs a own show for himself. Do y'all agree?
Huh? Well, yeah. We do that.
Yeah, like it's a lot to talk about with him. Like we're not gonna be able to sit here and talk because most of these coaches we ran them down for what 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like we trying to get the show over with because we've been on the air for almost an hour 30 minutes. So
right.
All right. The last person is Mike LaFleur. All right. Offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. His background, he's a veteran NFL offensive coach from that Shanahan and McVay coaching tree. His current offensive coordinator for the Rams, working with one of the league's most respected offensive systems. He has prior experience in calling plays and managing offenses at multiple NFL stops. Now, his strengths is he has strong understanding of modern NFL offensive structure. He's experienced designing adaptive game plans week to week. He's familiar with managing offensive staffs and collaborating with head coaches. And he's also comfortable with working with both veteran and developing quarterbacks. I saved that one for last on my strength as well. And I know the guys there talk about that here in a second. How he'll fit with the Falcons, it's a logical fit in my opinion. If we bring him in because they prioritize the offense competence without radical experimentation. All right. So again, we tired of this bringing people in trying to experiment with shit. No, come on in. He has the experience of running an offense. All right, and the system works. It's been proven to work. All right, everybody forget it. If y'all lived under a rock for the past 10 years, he was our offensive he was our offensive assistant here when Shanahan was here. So just want to throw that out too. He brings credibility from a consistently well-run organization, and he can help stabilize and modernize this offense without a full schematic overhaul. So we really won't have to change much. I know the offensive line may be maybe a little different, but I think you can kind of implement that in his scheme, and it'll be fine. So the concerns is his previous OC tenures have produced mixed perception because some of his offenses it wasn't good. But if you think about the quarterback he had, yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. He's not viewed as a home run hire compared to the other candidates, and he would need to demonstrate clear leadership presence as a CEO type of head coach. So, what's y'all thoughts on McCarthy? Not McCarthy, LaFleur. And McCarthy is another guy we're gonna talk about too. Again, McCarthy, Harbaugh, and Pete Carroll. We'll talk about those guys on a different show.
Zach Robinson left a bad taste in my mouth dealing with coordinator from damn LA.
But
I ain't
again,
gonna tell you no lie.
Zach Robinson, I just really think he wasn't ready to be calling plays, man. And that's just my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
That's my opinion. LaFleur has longer experience in NFL than Robinson. I think when LaFleur was the assistant for us, I think Robinson was still a head coach, wasn't he? I mean, Robinson was still in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was still a
Okay.
quarterback. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. That's a lot. I mean, that's reassuring right there. At least
Yeah.
you got the damn experience. But it just Raheem, Jimmy Lake, Zach Robinson, all coming from LA and shit like that. It's just like, oh
Lake
no.
just so happened to
Because of that,
be there
because of Les
already.
Need. Yeah, and y'all forgot Les Need used to
Yes.
work under Rich McKay and Thomas Dimitrov. So that's that connection right there.
Right.
But Jim
But
Lake just so happened to be there that year when it was there. But Jim
mm,
Lake had already had it in college, a lot of college
hmm
success.
Yeah. He only
right.
been like Jimmy Lake, honestly, he was only in LA 1 year before he came here to Atlanta.
Right. Right. I just think he just gave LA a bad he could give you a bad taste in your
Man,
mouth.
man, he could have bruh, he could have came for the Philadelphia Eagles and he still would have did the same. It doesn't really matter, bruh.
but for real, on a serious note, experience, system, I'm cool with it.
Hey, what's your thoughts on Mike LaFleur, Mike?
Oh, who?
LaFleur.
Oh, I thought I already said. Uh, nah, it's like I said, it's that West Coast offense. That is needed. You see it around the league. Like I said, the thing is being able to a lot of these play calls today are not marrying their passing game with the running game, which is a huge mistake in the NFL. I mean, it's a huge mistake in football. Period. You gotta marry your passing game and your running game together, and he understands how to do that. So play calling is just only a matter of time where you get familiarity with that. I mean, you look at Sean Payton. I mean, he was able to throw a whole bunch of yards, but until he actually married the pass game with the running game, um, he didn't really see a lot of success. In fact, he actually got fired. His play calling duty got ripped away because he wanted to pass the ball too much with the Giants. So there's that. It's all about the passing game and the play action game with the passing game. Got to have a plan.
That's the biggest thing right there. That that's the biggest thing now. Make or break anything you do is if you have no plan.
Exactly. All right. What's your thoughts on LaFleur? Truth.
Don't ask him that. Don't. Because he
I'm
gonna
good.
he gonna say something about Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
I mean, he come out of that system, man. I gotta have one eye open on him. So Mike, you're right. Yeah. I wouldn't have a problem if you skipped me on him. Um,
Damn.
and that's a damn shame because I don't even know that man. But
He come from that system though.
he come from that system. I got an eye open. Now, I'll be aside. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he anything like his brother, he, um, he can help the quarterback. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, look at what his brother doing for Malik. Malik was
Mm-hmm.
clueless
Yeah.
in Tennessee. Now he's there, and he actually know how to play quarterback now. So
There you go.
that I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to it. But I told Don last night what I am terrified of right now. What I'm what yes, it is something that terrifies truth. I'm terrified of something right now. What did I say I was terrified of, Don?
What are you terrified of?
Frisco going home early,
Oh Lord.
And what?
and he already on some 49er fans hot seat right now. He lose his job.
He comes here.
They're gonna pounce right on him. They're gonna pounce right on him, and that will be the end of OG Truth, as you know him.
Well, if they bring him here, they better bring John Lynch with his ass as a GM. But we know that ain't gonna happen. So look, I'm
I'm
not
I,
even worried about no.
I'm gonna suspend myself. Mike K. done. Y'all won't have to do it. I'm gonna suspend myself if that happens.
That ain't happening, man. I just think, man, like we already see it now, man. Every year, a third of teams fire their coaches. Like we talk about quarterbacks are good quarterbacks are hard to find. Good head coaches are hard to find, man. It just is, and I get it. You know, what Kyle Shanahan, he is a piece of shit. But at the end of the day, he's a good coach. He keep winning. So it's like if you can continue to win and you give your organization an opportunity to contend for a Super Bowl every year, I feel like you should be able to keep your job. You can there's only one champion. Like that's all I care about. I ain't gonna say that's all I care about, but if you could be consistent at winning and getting in the playoffs each year, like that's the bar for me.
I get it.
That's
I
the bar for
understand.
me.
I still want to hurt him though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying in general for whoever come here to Atlanta. Like you have to win. You have to make the playoffs. You got to develop these guys. Y'all gotta draft right. You gotta y'all coach, GM, and president, whoever. They gotta work together so we can win a championship. It takes everybody on all hands on deck. Everybody gotta have that same vision, man.
Yeah, I get it.
So anything else anybody want to talk about before we end the live? Well, like anybody got anything to say as far as like any shows or whatever?
I don't really have anything else, man.
I'll be on at midnight tonight.
Yeah, we know. We know. All right, Mike.
I want to go eat. I'm hungry.
Yeah. Well,
Mike,
I
I'm
appreciate.
here right now.
I
Mike, I would like
appreciate
to.
everybody in the chat
Love to.
that's been on
God
the show with
damn.
us. I've been trying to highlight y'all stuff. I apologize. But the 90 people that was in the chat that's watching the show live, man, we appreciate y'all so much, man. Again, man, this is the heavy hitters. I'm gonna let go K Styles to go ahead and sign us off, man.
All right, all right. So, like I said, man, Truth gonna be on
And if you
in a few. Like I said, man, we are going. Well, like I said, we're gonna have the convo tomorrow. We're gonna go ahead and get started on some of this NFL playoff talk. Get started on some of these matchups. And like I said, man, y'all just make sure y'all continue to support the heavy hitters live. Like I said, man, we're gonna have a couple more shows on here for y'all. So, like I said, just stay tuned because the off season does not mean that we're off. It means that we're gonna grind even harder for it. So, till next time, people. Oh yeah, never mind. So until next time, people, we ain't here to play.
no.
We here to stay.
Oh yeah, nigga.
You ain't gotta go home.
You got to get the hell up out of here.
And that ain't nothing but the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Deuces. Ooh. It's gonna let me in. There you go.